Let's see. This could potentially be Cottage Grove's new community center food hub, local gathering space around each other and around community and around food. And this is a gigantic 5,000 square foot nearly block building, a brand new park development directly across the street in an old train yard. And that was half of what inspired me to purchase this building and go with the idea of food and ice cream and beverage and seating area. My ideal scenario on this block building would be to knock out these four areas up here and create windows, gigantic window space, and turn these two bays into roll-up garage door so that there's a feeling of sort of flow into the park and flow into the community food hub. And along those lines, so up here, if you can imagine where these windows are, upper loft seating, so that would kind of go from this area-ish, about 8 to 10 feet, and then wrap along the whole front end, and then kind of take a curve here, and then continue. So it's sort of like an L-shaped upper seating area, and this corner would be brought out further with this kind of curve to it, and that maybe would be more like a lounge area with couches, and you hang out, and you just kind of want to be here and study and get out of the rain of Oregon. And this space would have a dual purpose of creating kind of defining this space that could be the ice cream parlor, which is right here by the window, maybe a walk-up window, ice cream parlor, beverage area, coffee shop kind of scene taking up this corner. Where this curve comes in, creating a ceiling space for the ice cream parlor, I think is just a really lovely idea. In regards to the upper lofted area, we're kind of envisioning a lot of timber. So post and beam work in Oregon, there's just an abundance of wood, and a friend, two connections I've made recently, one with the tree service folk that are falling trees regularly, and another friend that has a portable mill and a boom truck to kind of grab these big trunk portions of maple and oak and fir and drag them in here and mill the beam and lumber that we'd need to create this sort of post and beam balconied structure. So that's pretty exciting. We also kind of have a vision of like on the knee braces, so where a post and a beam go like this, and then you have the knee brace here, that we could even leave it more organic and just kind of shave bark off, but leave kind of limb wood and give it that more organic, sweet look, and also like natural to Oregon. So you walk in here, and it's wide open. This would be like community seating area. I can imagine a small stage over here for small music venue area, maybe even film night. So have documentaries or kids film night or something like this against this wall. And then that would be even nicer for this balcony seating for people to be sitting up here watching movies or music or what have you. So primary seating up here wrapping around, and then the big open seating, community seating right here in the center. I'm sort of envisioning a stained concrete floor. This concrete is in pretty good condition, as in it's not heavily stained. There's some cracks and things, but I'm envisioning the acid stained concrete floor and really like getting creative with that design here in the main seating area, so that when you're up on the balcony, you're looking down and really seeing this like beautiful art piece in the center floor. I imagine this getting ripped out. This is just sort of a makeshift office space, but it would create a lot more square footage for another venue or two or three. So ultimately, back here in the corner would be the commercial kitchen space, taking up a pretty sizable portion of the room. Given that, as it is a food hub, there might be multiple businesses using the commercial kitchen space. So we'd like to make the kitchen space large enough to accommodate multiple activities happening at the same time. A wood-fired oven kind of situated back here in the corner where you see this arch deal. I can imagine that the wood-fired oven space would be kind of situated right there, and its butt end would be on the outside of the building, so we'd kind of build it out on the back end of the building, so it wouldn't take up as much room in the kitchen. So in theory, the kitchen is here, and we have, say the ice cream parlor wants to use the space to make their ice cream, so they would, they would have use of the kitchen a couple days a week to en masse produce the gelato or the ice cream or the whatever that they would want to use. If there was a coffee roasting venue here or back in the corner and they need the kitchen specifically for dishwashing or what have you, if community members wanted to come in and rent kitchen space a couple of days a week to can produce from the farm or make sauerkrauts or fermented foods, value-added products to their farm, the kitchen would be available and rentable during certain windows of time that are not the busy windows of time. So sort of available as a rentable community kitchen. Ideally, we would put a second floor in this building. We were approved from the city for 3,000 square foot of the 5,000 total second floor. So on the back end of the building, you could have a second floor that would accommodate rented loft space or rented office space or what have you in the future. It would be really nice to have a second floor here. It would drop down a ceiling for the kitchen space so that the kitchen doesn't just disappear with this huge ceiling. It would give us sort of headroom, place for shelving and for lighting and whatnot. Most of what we want to do here is, it's on a budget, and we're really creative with our use of materials. It's the style that we build. I'm myself a builder and a tile setter, and I have renovated my 120-year-old home on a budget, and I've gotten really creative with finding materials and making use of leftovers, remnants, getting creative with the palette that you have and how can we make this beautiful from this limited amount of materials. So that's the flavor that we'll apply here too. It's our style, and I think that it lends itself to that sort of organic unfolding with whatever's around, being creative. It's a gigantic space, and so figuring out ways, for example, on the ceiling, rather than doing some sort of generic drop ceiling, we talked recently about using corrugated metal, even corrugated barn roofing, or getting creative with the ceiling alone, given the square footage. So it's going to be a challenge to find the materials to cover this amount of space, but I think it's going to force us to be more creative with how we're putting this together.
And what would you say about Cottage Grove community and people who are rallying around the idea?
Oh, I think it's just warmly embraced. People are so excited. This project, I think, has been in the back of a lot of folks' minds that have lived here. I've been in this town for 9 years. I come from Chicago and Minneapolis, so I'm a city transplant like a lot of folks here that are coming to Cottage Grove to simplify their lives and live off the land and homestead. And so there's a lot of folks here that really have these kind of higher standards in food. They want a place to hang out. They want a place to go have brunch on Sunday mornings and just let their kids roam about and have a play area. And I think that, and pizza, man, this town has no pizza. So I think that folks are just excited at the opportunity, because it's been in everybody's mind that we need a venue that is a non-bar venue. There's a lot of bars in this town to go hang out in the evening, but there's no real venue to come with your family or just to come and hang out and get some good food that isn't to focus around a drinking atmosphere. So I think that because folks have been kind of chomping at the bit and wanting something like this, when the idea leaked out that there's this potential for a new food hub here in Cottage Grove, I think that folks there's just a brewing enthusiasm about it and a rally of support, and I think it's going to take a community to launch this kind of effort. And I think that folks are on board. I think it's going to be an amazing community effort to get this off the ground. And a bunch of creative folks in this town too. A bunch of creative folks with creative ideas of making things happen, really industrious and clever-minded and artistic types that can look at this project and come up with a million different ways to cover 5,000 square foot of ceiling. So, you know, just to get folks in with their ideas and their access to resource and see how we can put this together as a community. And then, because it is just that, it's a community gathering space, so we might as well start from the beginning.
And of course, you've got the property next door that you've already allowed the community farmers market to move into. And yesterday, the park had an event. And were you in town, Kim? Did you see how busy they were yesterday?
I missed it.
Yeah, that's an awesome beginning.
That's really exciting. Yeah, I think it's really, I mean, the park, this is just becoming the new center of Cottage Grove. And folks are moving here and growing food, and people are becoming a lot more food-minded. And so I think that it's just going to, they complement each other greatly. So if this is sort of conceived as the indoor food hub, and next door we have the outdoor year-round farmers market and outdoor food plaza, they complement each other beautifully. People can come in here and grab a slice of pizza and go over there and get their produce and sit underneath the covered structure and eat their whatever, or in the winter it's rainy and crappy out in Oregon and they come in here and they get cozy, and there's probably some sort of lovely wood stove deal that people can come and just get warmed up and gather with each other. So, and the park all summer long with all these festivals, how awesome is it going to be to just have this like bustling of like flow, this flow in and this flow out, and just becoming a part of this green space. And what a beautiful view. I mean, to be able to sit up here and look out these windows and look off into our landmarks of the town, which is Mount David, and these great murals that are out here. So I think it's just, I mean, it's really an awesome thing to envision, and I think that's how the whole project even came about, was just this like putting a lot of time and energy into envisioning this possibility and like seeing it, sitting across that park and looking into this building and just seeing it really made sense, and I think it made it happen.
Great. Well, we're all excited.
Yeah.